Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today we are gonna sew a lace summer dress and I'm really excited for that, so let's get started. Maybe you have seen my last video where I had the spring get ready with me, and in this video I also showed that I bought a summer dress in Spain last year and I just bought it on the European market, but I did bought it without seeing it because there were no mirrors or so, but I did really like the fabric on it. It has like a lace fabric and also an underlayer fabric. It has a crisscross onto the top and the longer skirt and some wing sleeves. Also had this elastic on the waist, so it was really comfortable to get in and out. Also when I washed it, the skirt went up about 20 centimeters or so it's just way too short, so I had to get new lining fabric for the skirt. I had to get a new zipper and I did not like the fit. It just looks like a baby doll dress. It's not really nice to my body, and today I'm going to change it up. So what I plan, I am going to leave the crisscross kind of, so I'm keeping the v-neck, I'm keeping the wings, I'm liking that, but then as well I'm going to have the elastic right underneath my boobs kind of, so I'm gonna put that about 10 centimeters down to my waist, and then there's coming the skirt. So I'm only gonna work with this dress here, and then I'm gonna reuse the fabric. You can use any fabric you want, but it has to be not really elastic and not really stiff, so you can work with both. 100% cotton. It has this really beautiful white lace flowers on it. Don't use fabric which has way too much elastic in, because then maybe it's gonna look too big or so. It's more for like a cute viscose or like a cotton or stuff like that. The sewing pattern you're gonna get down below in the description box in my shop. There are also so many cute new sewing patterns like beach bags, summer dresses, skirts, and also some shirts and blouses and jackets, so many stuff. So maybe you're gonna try that out. Also I just redid some new project because I got a plotter from Cricut and I'm just worked out a little bit with that. So maybe you just want to check that out. They're really cute items and I think everybody's gonna find something really cute in that, so maybe you're just gonna check that out. Also, I would really like if you give this video a big thumbs up and maybe subscribe so you don't miss any other video. Also here I'm gonna sew the size small and I use this fabric, but for the size small you maybe need about 2 meters. I would recommend you, and also get some lining, 1.5, but let's be honest, just get a little bit more fabric so you don't run out of fabric. Like I would say, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut everything out, change the sewing pattern, create the sewing pattern, and then we can go start it. So that's everything you're gonna need, and how you see, that's just the leftover from the dress I had, so it's just the top with the wing sleeves on it, but I'm going to show you how you're going to get to this step just in a little bit. Before that, I'm going to show you what you're going to need. So you are going to need 2 sleeves. Obviously you're going to need twice the front and lining fabric, and as well in the normal fabric, and you're going to need the back in the main fabric. You can also use the same pattern if you want a lining onto the back, then just gonna go ahead and cut the same out. Also you're gonna need just a little bit about the elastic, because you're also gonna need the invisible zipper, which you can see right here. I have this about a 25 centimeter, and you're gonna need a 25 centimeter for every size, no matter what size you're gonna sew. And if you like, you can also have some bias tape right here. This is just a 0.5 millimeter wide. It's just a little bit because when I show you right here, the usual dress has also this bias tape, but I'm going to show you 2 ways how you can sew that without bias tape and with bias tape. So that's not the big of a deal or so. And of course you are going to need the skirt front, the skirt back, and as well as the lining, and then you're gonna need corset part for the front and the corset part for the back, and as well in the lining and also in the main fabric. You're gonna see this is just the top from the dress, which I changed up a little bit, but I'm also gonna keep the wings and so I'm just gonna show you how you're gonna get until this stage, and then we're gonna keep going with the skirt and also with the corset part. So what we have here, we have the 2 fronts, the lining, and as well the main part. and the same on the other side. And then you have one back part. You can also have some lining if you like, but this dress just does not have that, and I'm not gonna need that, I think. And also the wing sleeve, and I designed the wing sleeve not right onto the bottom. I just designed like where you're gonna see that. And to get to the same point like I am, you're just gonna need two fronts, and you need the same with the lining fabric. I'm just gonna show you how I'm doing it with one side, but you're just gonna do the same onto the other side, exactly the same. There's no changes. So just imagine one side is the lining fabric and one side is the top part. And of course you're also going to need the back part. This is just one piece right here. Obviously you're going to need the wings. I have here just one because I'm only going to show you this on one side. So just that you can recognize everything. That's the lining fabric with the pink eggs on it, and that's just the main fabric. And what we're going to do first, I'm going to start with the fronts, and I'm just going to put them right sides together just like that. And what I'm gonna do, I am gonna sew just this curve right here. How you can see, I just sewed it from way to the top, and then a little bit more than the marks is where you're gonna attach the corset on. So this part is still open, but here you just sewed it. And then what you can do, you can just gonna go ahead and turn that over. If you like, you can also iron on top of that. That's fine as well. For the bottom part, which I'm gonna do right now, I am just gonna put a really wide stitch on it, which is the largest stitch, and I'm not going to close up the front and the end of it, so they're open. And after, I just gonna tie one side and can make it a little bit more ruffled. Just pull onto the bottom thread right here, and you see I'm just gonna make it wrinkly. Take your time maybe, because when your thread is gonna rip, you're gonna have to sew the same thing again. What I'm going to do just right now, I'm going to sew the side seam and also the armhole and the shoulder just with the normal stitch, so the lining and the front is not going to wriggling around and everything is going straight. And you can do this with both sides. So we're done with the front, and we can move on now to the back. And right here you have this curve here, and I just showed you the one I have has some bias tape right on here. You can use that if you want, but you can also leave it how it is and just gonna fold it to the inside once. Maybe you want to search around first, and then you can take some needles and just fold it once, and then you're also good to go. But some people like it a little bit more clean up, and then you can use just some bias tape. And then for the sleeves, you have your sleeve right here, and what you're gonna do, you're just gonna go ahead and double fold it right here. So you can iron it and folding it, or you can just try double fold it twice right here, and you go all the way along. This part you're gonna use your widest stitch and then also ruffle it. I'm gonna show you this just in a little bit. I'm gonna do the ruffles onto the straight line right here. So I'm using the largest stitch on my sewing machine, and then I'm just gonna sew from the top to the bottom all the way from the straight side. I'm not gonna fix the starting point and the end point, but after sewing it, I'm gonna put a little knot onto one side of the sleeve, so I can just go and pull the bottom part, the bottom thread, by making it a little bit ruffly. So, and then I'm gonna put them right sides together, the main part and also the bottom part, and I'm just gonna sew the shoulder seam right here, so I'm having this fixed point. So if you like, you can search the shoulder seam right now, and then you have your sleeve, which is now, if you pull it up, you see the wing optic, and that's something we're gonna want and do. And you have your mark for your middle point, and what you're gonna do, you're folding this part up, and you're also gonna put them right sides together, and you have your mark right here on the front and also onto the back, and you're just gonna go ahead and pin the one point right here. And then the other one, maybe you're just gonna have to wrinkle it a little bit more or less. I think in my part, be fine. Maybe I have to wrinkle it a little bit more. So you're just gonna sew from the point right here to the other side. I'm just gonna fold this all the way down like that, and you see it's always going upwards. So what I'm going to do, I'm folding the seam right inside and pinning it from the top down, because I am going to top stitch this part, and so it's nice and flat. And with the bottom right here, we have the open edge. I'm also going to fold it to the inside. And then I'm going to sew from the side seam and then all the way the shoulder and then the armhole and to the other side of the shoulder. So we have, when I'm going to put that up, we have a really cute ring right here, and that's something we're going to want. So I'm going to top stitch that, and then also after top stitching it, you can put them right sides together. You can sew this side seam. And you're obviously going to do this on both sides. It's exactly the same. And yeah, then this is your front part. And I would say it looks really similar to what I have on this sewing pattern right here. When you sewed all of that, we can move on with the corset. It's where we attach the top part to. And I am just going to go ahead and put them right sides together. I have the seam right here. Don't worry, this is where the zipper is going to be. That's why I left that open. And you have a mark for that as well on the sewing pattern. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and pin them right sides together. And I'm starting with the side seam and then also with the front right here. Because then we're going to see how much we have to wrinkle that. Because it has to fit obviously into right here, but I think again I did a really good job in here. Maybe I'm going to make it a little bit more even, just like that, and I'm going to put the pin all the way into that. And I'm going to do the sandwich method, so we have no seam showing or anything like that. Over, it should look really nice and pretty, and don't worry about the mark. I just did that, but it's gonna go away by heat. And then I'm also gonna attach the other one, and you have your mark on both parts, and so you're just gonna attach them. So, and then you fold it over, and it's just gonna look like that without the lining. So I'm just gonna attaching this part right now, and after I'm gonna attach the lining, and I'm gonna show you this just into a little bit. I sewed it. You can also serge it if you like, but you don't have to. And when you fold that over, you see you have like a pretty neck right here, and then this corset part. So we moved the part which was the smallest right here all the way 10 centimeters downwards to the waist, and now we have to work with the lining. So I'm gonna fold that over just like that, and then you see this is where the lining is, and that's where we have not the lining. So we take the lining part, and I'm just gonna put them right sides together where the lining fabric is, and then just put your pin onto the side seam and also onto where the line is going to be, so you're all good when you sew it. So that's finished as well. It is attached, so when you put everything downwards now, you have the lining and as well the main part right here. And something I'm going to do now, I'm going to sew from the side seam and then also sew all the way along. And the same I'm going to do with the other side seam right here, so this part is not moving around or anything like that. So that's now the outside. And you can also try that on if you like, but maybe you're just gonna wait a little bit and do this on when you do the back part as well. But you see that's really nice outside, and then from the inside you have also no raw edges, everything is really nice. And that's for the top, and then from the back we're gonna turn that. And for the back you need your elastic, because the corset belt is the same size, but we obviously want that to be like a little bit more tight and pretty right there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put an elastic right on here, so it's getting a little bit more wrinkly, but also whenever you wear it, it's not stiff, so you can move really well. And for that I am gonna put the elastic right on the one side seam as well onto the other side seam. So, and then you see it's already going smaller by here, and I'm gonna just top stitch all the way along and always stretching the elastic to the main point. And I'm also gonna use a zigzag stitch here, the lining fabric right here, and that's the outside of the fabric. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put them right sides together just on top of the elastic right here, and I'm going to sew all the way along the straight line. And after I did that, you can do it also in one step. Maybe I'm going to do it in one step, I'm not sure right now. You're gonna attach also the lining onto the other side, so we again sandwiching and having no raw edges like that. I'm gonna sew this, and you can also flat that over with the lining fabric and sandwiching it right on here, so you have the elastic between the two layers. So I sewed that both sides, and you can flap that down like we did with the front. And also what I did with the front, I sewed this part right here, this side seam, and also the bottom part, and I'm going to do exactly the same right here. So just go ahead and sew this part, and then we're going to attach the skirt onto that. And my main fabric has this really beautiful hem right here, so I don't need to hem that. For the lining fabric I do have to hem it, so I'm just going to fold that twice. So double folding and top stitching it. And if your main fabric has not a hem, you have to do exactly the same. And maybe if you like to prefer the lining fabric a little bit shorter, that's fine too, you can do so. I'm gonna keep that onto the same length just because it's see-through right here. And I'm going to do this with the back skirt and also with the front skirt. Make sure to not change up the skirt also, so you maybe mark where your front skirt is and what's your back skirt is, so it's gonna match all the way. So right here you see I did made the hem, and I double folded to the inside so everything looks nice and flat, and you have to do the same with the main fabric. Mine is pretty like that, so I'm gonna leave that. Now you're gonna put them left side on right side. So you have the right side from the lining and the left side from the main part from the skirt, the main fabric. So it's basically how you want it, because something you're gonna do right now is we are just going to attach the lining with the main fabric. So you're going to pin it just like that all the way around. Not obviously the hem, you're going to leave out the hem, but the other part you're going to have to sew, so it's just a little bit easier then to work with it. And you do the same with both sides, like with the front and also with the back. So you kind of putting the 4 pieces into 2 pieces before we put them all in one piece. I sewed all the way around, and if you maybe like this video, you're gonna give this video a big thumbs up and also subscribe here you don't miss any other video I'm making, because I do go to a fabric market soon and there's so many new sewing projects planned. So if you don't want to miss it out, just go ahead and subscribe. So that's all done now, and you can now put the marks onto the marks. So you have your top part right here and the skirt, you're putting them right sides together. You have your corners right here, and what you're gonna do, you're also gonna pin them on this line. So we're attaching the skirt to the main part, and then you do the same with the bag as well, so both sides are attached. Attach them all the way, and one side you can just close all the way, so you're just gonna fix maybe the points right here so they really nice and on top of each other from the corset, maybe like the seams, and then you just sew all the way down. And with the other side, with the zipper, you're just gonna have your marks right there. So this is where the zipper is going to be, and the other part, the skirt part, you can just from your marks sew downwards. And then I'm gonna show you how you're gonna put the zipper in. I did not attach them together. I just sewed the one outer line and then the lining as well, and you can also serge it if you like. Before we put the zipper on, you can also try it on like I do right here, and maybe you want the skirt to be a little bit smaller, then it's fine, you can just go ahead and do this with the side seams. Or maybe you just want to put like elastic somewhere so it's smaller, or it's fine to you, then we can just go ahead and move on with the seams. Like I always say, bodies are different, and it's really difficult doing sewing patterns for every shape of body because everybody is just different, and that's just not possible. Maybe you know that when you go to different stores, just the silhouette or the fitting is different, and that's just because the sewing pattern are based on one size and then just calculated up or downwards. So that's how I just sewed it, and the top we made, and it fits really well. The skirt I made a little bit smaller just on the side seam. On the waist it's just a little bit too big, so we have the elastic right on top here. And I also did like elastic on here. Show you that. So when you turn that, you have here. So these are the parts where we attach the skirt. So you can tell that's a lighter lining than this because I bought this. And that's the front. And here's the back. And I just attached it normally like I showed you. And then I had the same elastic amount. So it's also 30 centimeter wide. And I stretched it and I just ran over with the serger so it looks nice and clean. You can also use a zigzag stitch for here, but then it's elastic as well. What I have to do now is just putting the zipper in, and for the zipper, like I said in the beginning, I have this invisible zipper, which is basically for a dress, and it's not shown to the outside. I'm going to work with this. So that's the zipper, and we have to put them right sides together, but right side so that basically I'm starting with the front, and when you have the zipper laying upwards, you're just going to fold it to the opening, to the seam, and you're just gonna pin it right on there. I'm always doing this in 2 steps. You can also do it in 1 step if you like, but for me it's just easier to first sew it on and then afterwards just to going really close to the teeth and going close so it's really an invisible zipper. Okay, so I have fixed these points, and what I'm gonna do right now, I'm just gonna fold it over just like that, and I'm gonna mark where the seams are gonna be, like right here. So I know for the other side. That's a really good tip when you have that. So what I'm just gonna do, I'm just gonna mark right where the seams are going to be, so I know where to attach the seam from the other side, because just for now I'm gonna open the zipper right here and I'm gonna fold that just over and laying this part right where the seam is going to be. You see, that's the seam and that's the mark, because we want the teeth going outwards, because then we're gonna fold that as well. It maybe looks a little bit confusing to you, but just take your time, and whenever you focus on that the teeth are looking outside, take your time and check that the teeth are gonna look both like to the outside, not to each other, so I can fix and sew them. And whenever you sew an invisible zipper to a dress, it's just something I'm doing. It's maybe a tip or so. If you have other methods, it's fine. But for me, I'm always gonna just sew it with a normal sewing presser foot on, so the zipper is fixed and on place, and it's just easier to work with, in my opinion. And then I can also close it and check if the marks are going to be right. Here you see that I just sewed it. It's way too far away, obviously. You can just open the zipper so you see it's folding over. And I'm also gonna use a presser foot for an invisible zipper. You see that it just looks different, and you have a road where you can go really close to the teeth of the zipper. Make sure that you don't sew on top of the teeth, maybe then you can open your zipper or so. Okay guys, that's it for today. I really hope you liked today's video. I'm really glad and happy about this dress. It fits me perfectly, and I was so sad after the market that it wasn't fitting and looking right, and now I finally got one, because I was looking for a white laces dress which also had the lace onto the back, like laces all over it, for a really long time. I looked kind of every store, and all the time there was just something that I didn't like. So make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and also subscribe so you don't miss any other video. I'm really excited. I love sewing, and the sewing pattern you're gonna find down below in the description box. And you can just go check out my social medias, because there I'm posting every day. I would also really like to see what you did and what you created, so maybe you want to tag me on Instagram, because on YouTube you cannot do this, it's just not possible. And yeah, I hope we're gonna see you in the next video. Bye!
Every change has a reason, baby, let it come to you. Every soul, every season.